Hi, this is Brian behind the camera.
And Alexandra.
What episode are we on?
We're on number 8.
Number 8, we gotta have the fingers. And we are with two of our wonderful friends, two of the most energetic, inspiring people we know, Brendan Brazier and Julie Morris.
Hi.
How are you guys?
Great, how are you?
Great. Welcome to Theos TV. Darling, what do we want to talk about today?
So today, I know a lot of you had questions about B12.
Get in a little closer so we can...
B12.
B12.
Yeah.
B12.
Let's give a little introduction, actually. So Brendan's a professional Ironman, vegan triathlete, the creator of Vega, which is it Vega?
Yeah.
Which is an awesome, how would you describe it?
Drink.
Awesome drink for athletes and other people who want to live optimally, essentially.
Yeah.
And just super cool. Julie is and also author of Thrive. Do you just call it Thrive or Thrive Nutrition now?
Yeah, just Thrive. In Canada, it's called the Thrive Diet. In the US, it's just called Thrive.
Awesome, which is one of the books that I did a Philosopher's Note. I one of the top 100 that I picked. Awesome book, all about how we can sustain a healthy lifestyle and an active athletic performance on a whole plant-based diet. Super cool. And then Julie is an eco-diva and chef extraordinaire. Find her at juliemorris.net and Brendan at brendanbrazier.com. So with that introduction, back to you.
Okay, so B12. I know a lot of people ask vegans, how do you get your B12? I know you get asked it all the time.
It's the first time you've ever been asked that question.
What's B12?
Yeah.
Brendan, you're probably the best one for this guy.
Well, I used to take a supplement up until around 7 or 8 years ago, and I don't think supplements are bad. I think if people feel comfortable doing that, that's fine. I wanted to see if I could just not take one and see what would happen, and nothing bad happened. Things stayed the same pretty much. Some things like algae have it, spirulina, chlorella, seaweed has it as well. Dulse seaweed's really good for that. Even some people say just being in close quarters with other people, if you're in a subway and there's bacteria floating.
Really?
Yeah, actually, because there's a bacteria. So
Well, there you go.
it's very important to
Wow.
have, but you don't need a lot of it. More is not better. Even just a few times a week, it's enough. And symptoms are really noticeable. It'd be like tingling in fingers and things like that you would notice before your nervous system would be damaged, which is a symptom of having low B12, but it's very, very rare.
You need such a microscopic amount. I mean, it's just absolutely minute.
Cool. So then we got chlorella, algae, the dulse and seaweeds, which will take care of you.
Yeah.
And then if you're, on a subway, just
right.
get real
People on the
close.
subway, another reason to leave your car at home, be environmentally friendly.
Ooh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's awesome. So that was Suzette. Suzette, thanks for asking the question, and good luck. You're doing the New York City Marathon
Oh,
soon.
there's a subway there, I hear.
There you go. Yeah, there's one or two. You can hop on that.
That's a good one.
And then Brian, a friend of mine from high school, actually said thank you to Brendan for letting him know that you can adapt or develop an allergy for things like soy, which you introduced him to in Thrive in 30, one of your programs. People can check that out. And then how about, I want to go into just kind of general tips on Theos as well, but before we do that, we'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on, we had another person, I didn't write it down. Yes, I did. Patty asked, she's looking to go to being 100% vegan, right? And she's challenged with how to do that. Do you guys have any ideas on how to make the transition from kind of a normal diet to one where we remove those animal products?
Yeah, well, I think both of us kind of agree on this. Just add in things that you like that happen to be vegan. So go to your produce section, pick out some foods that you like. Guess what? All of your produce is vegan, so that's pretty exciting. If you like apples, oranges, raspberries, spinach salads, you want to make some good veggie burgers, I've got some recipes actually on my website. Really simple recipes are all over the place. And ask your friends too, just to kind of help you out a little bit. Just look to kind of add things into your diet as opposed to thinking about, oh my God, I can't eat all those things. It's going to be so difficult. You'll be amazed at how many different things you explore and discover.
Cool.
And it opens up a whole new world with yummy foods.
Right on, and your website rocks. We were talking about this before. Go to juliemorris.net. Really cool blog. Julie's an awesome writer, and she's got some amazing recipes, lots of videos, really, really cool stuff.
They're really easy too, so.
Yeah, they're fun. I liked your brownies in 5 minutes.
We made
Five
those the other
ingredients
day,
we did.
Nice.
It reminds
I watched
us.
your video, and I was like, immediately that day I went to the store and made it.
Yeah.
Seriously, awesome.
That was
Love it.
cool.
That's so cool.
It's kind of like Joshua Rosenthal's idea of crowding out too, right?
Yeah.
So crowd out the bad stuff with good stuff. Don't worry so much about removing stuff, but add a bunch of stuff and crowd it out.
Yeah.
Cool. You have any ideas, sir?
Yeah, just add more stuff, crowd it out if never heard that term, but it seems to make sense.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. And then I'm going to ask the obvious question. So how do you compete as an Ironman triathlete and do that professionally on plants? Where do you get your protein, man?
Yeah, the protein question, that's still, after all these years, that's still the number one question. But it's, yeah, you just don't need that much protein. I mean, protein's important, but you'll get it. If you eat a plant-based whole food diet, you'll get enough. When people get into trouble is when they eat lots of refined foods, the pastas and breads and things like
Yep.
that are, not very high in anything other than starch and calories.
Yep.
So, yeah, definitely eating a variety of those whole foods, and you'll get it. Even spinach and kale have 45% protein. So if you eat a big enough salad, you're getting some good quality. And then obviously there's things that are higher in protein, like hemp and pea protein, rice protein, stuff like that. That's good as well. But I probably eat about 70 grams a day. I weigh 165 pounds. Being pretty active, I should get 145 to 165 grams according to a conventional sports nutrition book, and I don't get half that. So it's about quality. And when I cut back on the protein, I definitely did lose a little bit of weight, but I didn't lose any strength. So therefore, my strength to weight ratio actually went up, which means my endurance went up. So it was an asset to eat less protein, just good quality. And recovery is better too, because you're not as acidic, and then your muscles function more fluently, and you move more efficiently, and your endurance improves. So it's actually, I say definitely an advantage to eat a properly put together plant-based diet over a meat-based diet,
Yep.
for sure, for an athlete.
That's awesome. So this is when we regret that it's only a 10-minute episode. So good stuff. So check out Brendan, brendanbrazier.com, and then the Thrive Diet, or Thrive, and then Thrive Fitness, 2 awesome books that go off on both the nutrition and the fitness aspects, and just good stuff. And I want to repeat, these guys, like, if you could, like, see them up close, you'd see how, like, just vibrantly alive they are, and truly inspired. Every time we hang out, I'm like, yeah, I want to do
God
more.
within is flowing through.
Yes, we've got 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes left. And we talked about in Theos, right? And the idea of plugging into the highest within. And we'd love to hear just what you guys do. Like, what are some of your practices in literally like a minute each? Like, what are your biggest things you do to really plug in and shine to the highest within you that you could suggest other people might want to think about?
I think just really tapping into your creativity, whatever that is, and that comes in all different forms. For me, it's within cooking and drawing and painting and all that stuff. But even like with cooking, for example, I see that as a tremendously creative act. I mean, you can get away from the recipes, just start putting stuff into a soup, and then you add a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and you just kind of like get in this groove, and then you've created this thing.
Awesome.
And it's so empowering to know that you can make something delicious or beautiful outside of yourself. And
Right
so it's
on.
a nice little reflection.
Creativity. This is great. Abraham Maslow, self-actualizing individuals that he studied, creativity was the hallmark of them, right? And self-actualized human beings are creatively expressed. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Brendan?
Yeah, I think doing what you enjoy is huge as well. If you like it, it's going to be easier to do, obviously. I remember the first time I was asked this question, it was a few years ago now, and someone said, how are you able to push yourself so hard during training and racing? And I was confused by the question. Like, I genuinely didn't understand. Like, what do you mean push yourself? I swim, bike, and run because I enjoy it, for no other reason. I don't push myself. I let myself go. And
Wow.
it's just that enjoyment of doing it that got me into triathlon. And other things in my life are kind of built upon that. I do them because I want to, because I think they're interesting, because I'm curious. I'm just naturally a curious person, and I like learning about things, not formally, but just
Yep.
on my own. And that I just kind of go with that, just doing, really just doing what you
Awesome.
enjoy, and finding what you enjoy, and going with it, and then building upon it, and see what comes from that. And there's always other things that will branch out from that.
So cool. And I know that you and Alexander just did an interview together. You can find that at the Clean Program. Alexander's working with a great team at thecleanprogram.com. And she's interviewing a bunch of really cool people. She's interviewed Brendan. She's going to be interviewing Julie soon, so we can get more wisdom from Julie. And you can check that out, because I know that Alexander ended that interview saying, Brendan is just so cool. And I asked him that question, and he's like, I just love what I do.
I'm like, he just loves it. He loves
Yeah.
what he does.
Well, and that's the thing. People start talking about willpower.
And we've got 10 seconds. We're going to need to make it
I
episode
won't go
2.
into that. We'll have to do.
Oh, we need episode 2. So we've got in Theos TV episode number 8 coming to a close here. Apparently we're going to need to do a second edition. Thank you guys so much for playing along. We're on a hike right now. This is Ojai Valley. Say goodbye, darling.
Mwah. Bye.
See you soon. More soon. Bye.